How's it going, everyone? This is going to be a quick video on what it cost me basically to get this engine in this truck. If you're new to the channel, this is my 2001 Silverado half-ton. 2016, I previously swapped an LQ4 and 4L80E, and then just recently had a mishap, even though it was a fairly low-mile engine, and lifter turned sideways, chewed the cam up. You know the rest. It was damaged. So I had some spares and I had some new parts as well. I had to buy a few things recently, but I had most of the stuff on hand, was good. But this is my list I made to kind of do the breakdown. So obviously you're not going to get a short block unless you're fortunate like I was for $120, but that's what I paid back in 2018. LKQ locally here is your local pick-apart junkyard. I had the rewards program, had some points there, and I think it was one of the holiday weekends where it was 40% off, so that was a score. Cylinder heads, I think that was still rewards program, plus I had some, they don't really care about cores. I think I had some old junk small block Chevy heads that were useless. Them were 66 by what I can see in my records. Cam and springs, it was just under 369, but we'll call it 369. I got that from Glenn's Auto Performance. By the way, I'm going to link some of these vendors in the description. And if you're curious what part numbers I use, don't be afraid to ask. I'll be more than happy to make sure, see exactly what I used, and go ahead and reply back. Head gaskets, I think I got them online from Rock Auto for about $90. Head bolts, had to buy them local, might have got them a little cheaper, but again, those were about $90. All said and done, I had to have them like yesterday. So oil filters, I buy them in bulk from Rock Auto when I do an order, so $3. I use the I think it's PF61's the AC Delco number. It's the extended filter, about yay long. Crank bolt, again, buy them in bulk, 2 or 3 at a time easily, $6. Miscellaneous fluids, brake clean, engine gunk, things of that nature, I allowed for about $100. It may have been a hair more, a little less, but generally. The retune and dyno was $250. It was the same tuner and all that, so he didn't have to unlock the PCM and start over on a full tune. It was just some basic adjustments from one engine to the next. Lifters, trays, and bolts, they're $300 now. I want to say I only paid $229 around there, but I could not find an old sales slip, so they're about $300 for the Morel lifters, the new GM trays, and they give you the hardware as well. Front seal from Brian Tooley Racing. That's what package it was in. That was about $26. And what I mean by front seal, the perimeter one around the front cover. The crank seal, a little pricey. It was $20 as well. Again, I don't think I paid that for it, but who knows? That's current prices if you were to go buy the exact same things I did. Valley cover gasket, $24. Knock sensors, they were genuine AC parts, AC Delco parts. I want to say I paid like under $40 a piece for them. They're now $48, so times 2. You may or may not need them. I could have possibly pulled them out of the other engine. They were functioning fine, but I had 2 brand new ones, and again, this is the breakdown of what I spent, what's in that engine bay on that engine for parts. So you could maybe do it for a little less if you omitted some of these things and reused some things, but that's neither here nor there. Oil pan gasket, looked them up, again, $33 roughly. That cam thrust plate with the little O-ring, $27. Oil pump O-ring, again, I buy them in bulk, so that was $3. The rear seals, I got a good deal on that. I bought a kit where it was the one that went around the crank and the perimeter for the cover, so $21. Valve cover gaskets, bought them locally, that was $25. I call them header gaskets, but I used the original multi-layer exhaust gaskets. Those were Mall, I think, $12. That was a Rock Auto thing, I believe. The bolts, I think the best price I found on them might have been Amazon. They're about $7. Those were given to me. They were technically free, but I'm going to put a value on them just the same. Spark plugs, those were $14. Those are TR6s in this. That was, I think, Rock Auto as well. Plug wires, they're Speed Engineering. Like the headers, the other ones I had on there were GM Performance. They were nice, but they were way too short. They worked, but now I'm in the position where these are way too long. I'll go in here and show you those as well. And water pump gaskets, because I just reused the pump off the engine. Again, that's a Rock Auto deal. It's cheap as $2. So come up with roughly $17.74, call it $1,800. If you adjust for what the short block and cylinder head as a complete long block cost now from LKQ, you'd probably have to add a little bit more. So about $2 grand all said and done. But that's literally every fastener, gasket, sensor, fluid, stuff to clean it up, to get it into the engine bay. That's the whole breakdown on it. So show you these plug wires. You can clearly see they're a bit on the long side, but I make do with them. It is what it is. Come out here mainly to do the breakdown, check a few things. I'm going to check the oil. I doubt it's down a lot. It doesn't seem like it's been using any. Check the catch can. Overall, it runs great. It runs nice and cool. Every day I come out, hit the key to go to work, it starts right up and runs great. So can't complain. I have been kind of theorizing, bouncing ideas off a couple people, and talking back and forth with them, and we think the smoke, maybe the dyno, the rings needed a reseat. Most people would be like, why is that? Well, again, this engine sat as a short block in my garage. I sprayed some WD-40 in the cylinders 4.5 years ago, threw a contractor bag over it and tied it off, you know, to keep any moisture and anything out of it, and it worked because the cylinders weren't rusty. But I never rolled it over, rotated it, any of that, so those rings sat in that part of the cylinder. And then I go and I hand lap the valves on the heads and new gaskets and everything, and few people seem to think that that may or may not have, you know, you resealed the top end of that engine and the rings have got a reseat. So just been doing a couple of highway trips here and there. To the dyno and back was one. Took one to a place I like to eat lunch at last week. Over the weekend I went and out to Orlando to visit friends and then come back. So it's had a few trips. One thing I do want to be honest and about with this, that it's been on my mind, but it doesn't seem to be an issue. It's still got awesome oil pressure. It's not making any funny noises. When I dropped the oil pan about a week and a half ago on Thanksgiving to tighten that oil pump to pickup tube bolt that I forgot to tighten when it was out of the truck, I cleaned the oil pan out, I drained the oil, all that, and I noticed, for a lack of better words, I had some like metal flecks. They weren't bearing material because Magnet on a Stick picked them right up. They were kind of dark, and I can't figure out what they'd be part of, what they come. But at any rate, they were in the pan. There was a couple spots around. There was some on the magnetic drain plug, not a lot, but there was one little clump, probably about the size of my thumbnail, over next to the drain plug in there, and that kind of troubled me a little bit. I ran the oil through a paint strainer back into the engine because, well, quite frankly, the oil maybe had 100 and something miles on it, so gonna reuse it. And it did pick up some in the filter, so I did not take the oil filter off, so there might be some in that. Basically, I'm going to run the oil that's in it about another 300 miles. I'll drain it, put fresh oil and filter on it. I'm going to cut the old one open and see what we've got. But the fact that it has the same rock solid oil pressure and as high as it is as when I first started it from day one, tells me if there's any damage that might have been done, it was very minuscule, so if any. But that's pretty much it. It's been running really well. I haven't really stepped on it too much, done a lot of spirited driving. I'm kind of letting, like I said, trying to reseat the rings and monitor that issue with why was there a little bit of metal in the little flakes of metal in the oil pan. So I think once I change the oil and it's got a clean bill of health, we'll go from there. I do probably this weekend coming want to do a compression test. I just want to see where it's at. I think factory spec somewhere around 190 psi per cylinder. That's with a stock camshaft, obviously. This has a little bit of overlap, 2 degrees to be exact. I think it should be around 165, no lower than 150, but we'll see. That's going to kind of give me an idea of where we're at, and then when I put a few more miles on it and give it some more time to attempt to reseat the rings, if that's what it needs, we'll check it again and see if it's more or less. But that's just kind of what I've got going on here. But once it's got a clean bill of health, we're going to mount the drag radials and hopefully get some real good air here in Florida in January, February, and I'm going to go to the track and see exactly what it does. I'm still kind of, I do see what he means. Every once in a while I'll be at an odd throttle position, and my friend Dennis that dynoed this at Redline said, yeah, your converter's doing something funny, and I do notice it now. It does clutch in and out. It would do it before when I towed with this on a hot day occasionally, but not often. But now it seems to be doing it if I just find that right spot in the throttle when it tries to go into lockup into overdrive. So I'll monitor that as well. If need be, I may have to either put another stock converter in it, I'm not sure, or I have that I can't even remember the name of the brand right now, but I almost want to say it's a PTC, but I don't think that's it. Transmission Specialties, that's what it is. Transmission Specialties. It's a 28 to 3000 10.5 inch lockup converter. I may just go with that one. I've had it for easily 4 or 5 years. It was for this truck, and I just never put it in. When I'm daily driving something like I am with this right now, it's hard to, in my opinion anyways, for me, it's hard to work on it and make sure it's running and driving so you can go to work every day. So I'll make time if it absolutely needs a distributor. I won't, or a converter. So I won't neglect that, but I'm hoping to just kind of keep driving it and keep letting it do its thing. So I've rambled and babbled long enough. I appreciate everybody watching, subscribing lately. We just hit 100 subscribers, so that was a real exciting thing for me. I want to continue to grow it like everybody else. Do I think I'm going to be one of these big million-plus subscriber guys on YouTube? No, but if I can get monetized and all that, that would just allow me to spend more money on projects and all that I don't have from my day job to do some more cool stuff and make content. So again, thanks for hanging in there, and I'll see you all next time. Hopefully something more exciting. Thank you.